something from someone who has nothing to steal. That's real.
Hey, what is up guys? Brittan from 3-Bit Gaming, and I'm here this week with another Build a Champ workshop. It's Monday, so you're going to see one of these. This week we got Bellona. Now, it's going to be a little bit iffy, this Build a Champ, just because of the simple fact that Bellona is a warrior and she has a lot of utility and she can be played a lot of different ways. She has been played a lot of different ways over the years that she's been out, but we're going to tackle just one build today. And like I said, she's a warrior, so if the build might seem off to you, it's just how I play her. I will give a few items that you can switch in and out, but let's get right into it. So Bellona, her abilities are Shield Bash. Bellona dashes forward and bashes with her shield, dealing damage and slowing enemies. Bellona gains 1 stack of block for each enemy God hit. Block absorbs all damage from a single basic attack and reflects a portion of the damage around her. Bellona then makes basic attacks with sword and shield until out of combat. Every 3 successful basic attacks, she gains another stack of block, max 3 stacks. Now, this is actually a really good ability to keep your opponent slowed and to prevent turning, because there's a lot of people that understand the Bellona's passive, which I'll get into here in a minute. And with the shield bash, if they're low health and you know that they have a shredding capability, you can shield bash, and it'll prevent them a lot from turning, plus it'll slow them to catch them up for your A and your B. So let's go to Bludgeon, which is her 2. Bellona summons a hammer and spins, hitting every enemy around her and then smashing forward in an overhand attack. Each enemy God hit in the spin increases the damage of the overhand attack. So if you're doing it's a here, I'll do it right now actually. It's a spin, and like for every God you hit, and when you come down, it does more damage, which is actually really cool. So Bellona now makes basic attacks with her hammer until out of combat. Every hammer attack hits all enemies in melee range, which means it's basically like Thanatos' last swing on his basic combo, and it's kind of an AoE. It is a lot slower. I'll show you again. It is a lot slower of a basic attack than her regular, but it's still good to use. So then let's go into her 3, which is Scourge. Bellona summons a Scourge, dealing damage to all enemies in a line. Enemies hit are disarmed and cannot make basic attacks. That is really useful, and it's a real bitch for people to deal with, believe me. Bellona now makes basic attacks with Scourge until out of combat, which has an extended range, plus 4 units, and every 3rd attack heals Bellona. Now, this is the bread and butter of Bellona, in my opinion, and it's super useful. So let's go to her ultimate, Eagle's Rally. Bellona plants a Roman flag, granting protections and increasing physical power to all allied gods. Enemies directly under where the flag is placed take damage and are stunned for 1 second. So you can see down here, you get the damage, protections, physical power, and flag duration. While leveling, it's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Then the protections are actually really good. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Physical power is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and flag duration is 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 seconds, which is awesome. Okay, so let's go to our passive, Master of War. Upon giving or receiving hits from basic attacks, Bellona gains protections and movement speed for 4 seconds, max 5 stacks. She is super good whenever it comes to her passive. Okay, so let's go over here and level, and I'll show, because this is going to be a little bit of a shorter one because she's a warrior, and going over all of this it would take all of her available builds and items that are good on her would take years to explain, but we're just going to go into a short build. So here's a build that I use often. Let's go. So just like Loki has his Hydra's Lament, Bellona has her Frostbound Hammer. She's really good with Frostbound. And let's see, I'll build Ishvals, then I'll build Protections, and then I'll build Runeforge. I'll build Runeforge. And I also got what I usually use for my relics here. In a real game, I'd probably, if it was like Arena or something, I'd probably get Slow, and I'd probably get Wrath, because I'm that guy that likes to secure those kills. So remember, she already has a built-in Slow, so the Frostbound Hammer is going to really help her out. even more so because now her basics are going to slow. So let's see what kind of damage we can do here starting out. As you see, he's got the debuff from the Runeforged Hammer, and what Runeforged Hammer basically does is says enemies who are within 30 units of you and are slowed take 10% more damage from all sources. That's 40 physical power and 200 health. So obviously whenever you're coming into battle, especially if it's a 1v1, there's no reason not to do this, but you just come in with a shield bash and now he's slowed. And I mean, you can see the little bit more of a, I mean, it's only a 10%, but we all know that that whoever's watching as a viewer and as a Smite player, we know how much 10 seconds in the game is worth, 10% more damage is worth. It usually is the difference between winning that 1v1 engage and getting away or getting wrecked. So let's go over here for her lane, her camp clear. It's actually going to be extremely easy just because obviously I'm level 20. But I really enjoyed this. This build is what I usually use if I'm in anything but Conquest. I actually talk about the starters for after, and then we'll go over here to Raw just real quick, and I'll just show you a little bit of her DPS. So I'll come in with an ult, and then I'll stun him. And then the B, disarmed, and we'll finish him off. Actually, he didn't get the chance to really do anything there, but okay. So we'll go over ability change. Obviously, with this build, I'm going to come in with a slow. People say that Bellona's only escape is her ultimate, but I would disagree because there's been plenty of times I've turned and used maybe Scourge or something, hit him once, run away with the shield bash, and I can usually get away. Because usually if you have any kind of people that are laning with you, unless you're in solo lane and Conquest, there's a good chance that your teammates are going to see that you're at low health and they're going to assist you in the matter of getting away and not getting that ugly death on your end of game report. So let me see here, ability change. So obviously coming in, that's what I was talking about. You can, if there's a crowd, you can do your 2, and then remember the disarm. If it's like a basic like Bakasura or something, I mean he's disarmed for that whole time. You'll see the duration. I'll do it one more time, but she's an extremely viable god when it comes to utility. So let's see this disarm. I mean, look at that at max rank. That's ridiculous. And also you can see every third basic attack you'll see the little heal animation comes around Bellona because she gets heals every third basic attack, which is good to put a little bit of attack speed on her. She can actually have a little sustain in a 1v1 engage or maybe in a 2v2 with her 2. But the healing is 50 points of health every 3, which it may not seem like a lot, but it really is whenever you're fighting that other warrior and maybe it's a Herc or whatnot. Obviously, we'll go into the relics. So this, I just pick stuff to help my team out. Since in this, I'm kind of like a bruiser. It's a little bit more of a bruiser build. We have the slows from the curse, and then wrath for that person that just a little bit too tanky for you, and you just need just a little bit more time to fight them. You can come in with your slow and then pop your wrath. So it's pretty well endowed to copy that. Obviously, you got your beads and your sprint, and obviously there's sanctuary. I usually don't use it on her, but you never know. If you're getting your ass whooped, you might pop it in. I also have Boom's Mask up here for if you ever want to jungle with her. There's a lot of people that say that she's not a very good jungle, but I've actually used her multiple times in jungle, and that ultimate coming out from the jungle on people can really turn a team fight. It is ridiculous. It's a really good ultimate for a team fight. So if you come in whenever it's 2-2 on dual lane and your team's kind of losing their battle and you come in with that ultimate, it can really turn it over to where you just get a double kill or you get those 2 kills in the lane, and it just totally turns that. Now the other guys are going to be down on experience and gold. I've seen it turn games before. 1v1s, I've used her, and I've used Death's Toll. I've had a lot of good luck, just because how her abilities work. Hitting enemy with a basic attack restores 6 health, plus with the Scourge, so that means you're going to be healing for 6, 6, 6, 6. 6, and you'll be getting your healing every third hit. Plus you get the mana. She is mana hungry during the game, most of the beginning to mid, but I'll go into that later. I also use blue stone pendant. It just depends who I'm fighting. If it's somebody that's in solo, and I don't know why, but for some reason I'm seeing like a hunter or something in solo. People do it all the time. And I mean, this is something that you could also use if you kind of don't want to getting in the face of them, and you can just do abilities, because her abilities have a little bit of range. You do your abilities and you get that little bit extra damage. Now I've also have some alternate items that you see here, Deathbringer, and most of these are like last items to replace like Runeforged Hammer. Also down here, my build order might be different. I might actually go Frostbound first. Sometimes I might do other things, but regardless, you'll see Deathbringer, and I think I might have gone over Deathbringer with the Loki build that I put out. I think that was our first Build a Champ workshop, but it's the 50 physical power, 20 crit chance, and then every time you crit, it's 40% more, which is killer. But it is an expensive item. I don't really like buying it on warriors. I actually just have this on here because when I started playing her, I had it on there, and I decided against it a lot of times, but there's other times that it might be viable. Here's Quinn size, 40 physical power, 15 attack speed. On basic hits, deal physical damage equal to 4% of the target's maximum health. This might be for tanks or other bruisers that might be really getting on the team's nerves and really need to go away. So this is something to try to get them to back, or to finish them off if you get the chance with your Frostbound. I mean, this Frostbound with Bellona is just super good. Then we have Hide of the Urchin. Obviously, Hide of the Urchin gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds, which helps her passive, because you can kind of, if you're not getting hurt too much, you can use this to replace both of the items. I wouldn't recommend doing it, because if you want to replace both of the defensive items I have on here, you will be losing the cooldown from the Breastplate of Valor, but you will be gaining the 250 health and mana, which, I mean, that's pretty good. Plus the passive is you gain 3+ magical protection and 3+ physical protection for each god you kill or assist in the kill of, max 10 stacks. So that's actually a really good item. Other items that I actually use that just aren't on that build page, I also use Jotun's Wrath. 40 physical power, 150 mana, 10 penetration, and 20 cooldown. That's actually a really good item to use. And I've had a lot of discussions with other Smite players that are much better than myself. And instead of Quinn size, there's a lot of people that say that, let me find it. Executioner. The Executioner has 30 physical power, 25% attack speed. Basic attacks against an enemy reduce your target's physical protection by 12% for 3 seconds, max 3 stacks. There's a lot of people that say that it's a lot better weapon for a bruiser of Bellona's caliber to use over Quinn size. And I totally agree. But for the most part. So that's another thing to keep an eye out on. So let's go in here and do our ability chain on Raw one last time. I'm going to go take Gold Fury and then Fire Giant, and then we'll round this video out with her flaws and her strengths. So let's just go in here, maybe even stun, and then I can just use my B, and he wouldn't be able to get away regardless, because whenever you use Scourge, you have the +4 reach. And you also have Frostbound Hammer as your second item, so it's kind of hard for him to get away. And since you have a little bit of cooldown from the Breastplate of Valor, you can kind of chase him down with your slow on your 1. So, okay, let's go over to Gold Fury real quick. Now, obviously, she's a bruiser, so you got to bear in mind, just because like these camps, she's level 20. I mean, she's not going to just be taking these camps easily. Obviously, Gold Fury is going to be easier just because at level 20, like every god in the game can take a Gold Fury. Even a full male Ymir can probably take Gold Fury. So Fire Giant is going to be a little bit more difficult, but let's see how we do. I bet you I'll be able to beat him eventually. Ooh. Come on, Fire Giant. Ooh, I about cut the cheese right there. That wasn't good. Dum bum 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 bum. No 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 no. Oh, yeah, but just going off there. There is I will be going over gods that she has a problem with here shortly. So there's something to deal with. Okay, so we got fire. I think I had about a third left. I probably could have done a lot better, to be honest. I haven't played her in a little bit. Probably could have taken him with a lot more health, but I missed a lot of ability chains that I should have been doing. Anyway, so let's go over gods that she is weak against. So gods that I've encountered personally that she's weak against. Tyr, I think Uller and Anubis are basically the few that I've encountered personally that have been a big problem for me to deal with. But I've looked up since then and talked to my friends on Reddit and my friends that also play Smite. And I hear that Chalk and Amaterasu are also a really big no-no with Bellona. Among Kumber Karn can be a big issue for her trying to secure those kills and do her bruiser damage. So those are the only ones that I can really tell you that are going to be a big issue. Again, remember to be doing the ability change, and also remember that Scourge is her baby. All right, so her strengths, obviously, she's got really good team turning ability. She can turn a team fight in a split second with her ultimate and maybe her 2 mixed with a B to eliminate a lot of those basic attacks. You can disarm hunters and assassins alike that are attack speed gods, hunters period. So she's really good and strong there. Gods that she would be strong against, obviously, almost any mage that you can get through dodging their abilities. She's just a bruiser. It's any god that has to deal with bruisers and has an issue with it, she's going to be extremely strong against. So, strengths, again, she's a bruiser. She's got a heal, and I really like that. She's really strong mid to late game, and she's strong early game if you're good with her, if you're technically good with her. I've had problems early game before. I'm getting a little better with her, so regardless, the biggest thing to watch out for early game, I would say, is one of her greatest flaws. She's quite a bit mana hungry. Obviously, you should be, if you're not in arena, you should be getting pots. You should be getting things that's going to help you sustain in lane. But the biggest thing I can say is, yeah, definitely the mana hungry thing. Again, I've had a lot of people tell me, well, she doesn't have an escape other than her ultimate, but like I said, with her Frostbound and her X and everything else to try to get away in the disarm, you can usually just discourage somebody enough from chasing. So you got to remember that. Another thing is, I'm going to say this right now, she's a great god, but she's been nerfed so much that I don't really see her all that much anymore. But when I do see a Bellona, they are a horror on the battlefield. So just remember that, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to support the channel. If you're new, I guess leave a subscribe. But I will see you next week, next Monday, on the next Build a Champ workshop. Peace out, guys.